Hey guys, what's happening? So it's been a while since I made actually a mechanical video of this Bronco, work on this Bronco mechanically. So if you're new to my channel, this is a 1966 Ford Bronco. I've actually had it for over 20 years, probably 24, 25 years. Had 3 or 4 different engines in it. Originally came with 289 in it. 289 with a 3-speed stick. I think I upgraded this to an AOD probably, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. I think it was before I was making YouTube videos. I've been making YouTube videos for like probably 8 or 9 years, I can't remember. Yeah, because if I would have been making videos back then, I would have made a video of the conversion. So I went from a 3-speed stick, then I had a C3, 3-speed, but it sucked on the freeway. So I went back and forth a lot to like Bronco. I live down in Costa Mesa, but I would drive back and forth to Costa Mesa a lot, or up to Big Bear, and so the overdrive was awesome for the freeway, to get there. So yeah, because I would have to crazy rev it, on the freeway. But I guess the title of this video is I gotta replace the transmission lines. So as soon as I'd run the transmission lines, maybe a year or two, it started leaking fluid. Not a lot. It was just getting worse and worse, and to the point where it's kind of like stopping the like when I go under like a hill, it won't suck up. So I'm losing fluid. So I got to replace these lines. So I got this. I originally had like some stainless braided lines in there, but it doesn't seem like it's leaking from the line so much. It seems like it's leaking from the connector. So I'll show you that. So I got this, which I don't think I've ever used this kind before, the PTFE internal line, like the internal plastic liner. So I think that's going to be better, because I know some people, from what I've read, is that the transmission fluid can screw up the rubber. So that's like more of like a heavy duty plastic liner. So I think it's like $40 for a kit. It comes with a bunch of, I'll put a link down below, but it comes with a bunch of connectors. But I'm going to redo the lines right now. But what's funny is I started making videos about this. Actually, we got some lights on in here. So I started making videos about this. I've actually had this for 5 or 6 years, man. I get busy with it. That's a AODE, or not AOD, it's called a 4R70W. So it's electronic transmission. It originally came out of a V6 Mustang, just because they were so rare with the bell housing. You need like the 351, 302 bell housing. So you had to get one out of a V6 Mustang 4R70W, because most of the 4R70Ws came with the newer modular engines. Okay, so yes, if you want like to do a 4R70W, you get it out of a V6 Mustang, or I think it maybe a what's it called, Explorer, like 302 Explorer. All right, so this kit came with this, I don't know, some connectors. So I'm hoping these aren't like the same cheap connectors. Like I feel it's like leaking from the connector. I don't know. Let me show you let me open up the engine and I'll show you what's up with the engine. Alright, so I know I blabber on a lot in my videos, but if you're not familiar with this, I've made videos, I don't know, doing the different upgrades, but I'm running it's a 351 Windsor in there. Holley fuel injection, Airlock EFI intake. Got this wheel, this is actually kind of corroded, this wheel lid thing here. So I'm running, like I said, Holley, originally it was a Holley Terminator, then I converted it over to, switched over to multi-port fuel injection. So it's a Holley, well, it's basically, I'm using the original Terminator computer, which is basically Holley HP. But the reason why I haven't done the 470W upgrade is because of, I had to switch out the computer too as well for transmission control. MSD box, I actually added this like a filtering capacitor to filter out the box, because I was actually having issues with radio reception. But the thing in question here, see that line there? So I did the Volvo, I'm hopping around all over the place, but alright, so I did a Volvo fan conversion probably 5 or 6 years ago. That thing was incredible. If you can do that, do that. Never had a cooling problem ever since I did that. But the issue I'm having here are these lines, and they're leaking from here, I think, like in the line. So I don't think the pipe itself is leaking, but pretty fast. Like probably within a year or two of putting these in, it started leaking from here. So I also have the leaks down from the below where it connects to the transmission, but I'll show you that too. Okay, so let me, I have to get out of the car and I have to disconnect all this stuff. But I've never actually crimped this kind of cable before. I mean, obviously I custom made these things, but I've never redone the PTFE tube. So, I mean, there is a tool in it. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know what this tool's for. All right, cool. Yeah, so I forgot to show you the routing. So it goes into my transmission line. Well, I have it purposely going through into my radiator, so it actually heats it up faster. So yeah, because you don't want to transmissions. I mean, they're designed to run at a certain operating temperature. So if you just run them too cool, it's not good for them either. So ideally you want them. It's kind of like an engine, right? They run better at hotter. So they run when they're not. They run better when they're actually at a certain temperature. So my concern was if I was like off-roading in cold weather, I would basically be running my transmission too cold. So actually what I have is here, I have a cooler that goes in the front. So it comes in into my transmission first, heats it up, or I can't make the exact routing, but then there's a big transmission cooler I have in the front here. So when I do convert to the 470W, this should all come over. So I have to... okay, I'm here. Yeah, it goes all the 6AN fittings. So I have to find a way to get in here. It was a headache getting in there. How did I do that? Just better look at the drip I have here. So the cool thing about the Bronco is I can get under it without having to jack it up. But you can see it's very close to these long tube headers here. So you can see that. So it's a headache with these long tube headers. I did actually get it in there. I reached in there somehow before I got it done. So. Alright, there it is, all the stuff taken out. Yeah, it's kind of a headache to get it out of the front grill here, but that's the transmission cooler mine. I can't remember what one it is. I might have made a video about it, who knows. But at least I can use these existing ones as a template to make the new ones, like links and stuff like that. I know one of them I'm going to make it a foot longer because I made a mistake the first time. You know, I've always used like a cutoff saw, or like a chop saw, cutoff saw with one of these metal cutting blades on it, because you have that metal wire. But in the picture they show a hacksaw, but I think a hacksaw would be probably want to grab onto the metal shards. Let me try that. Alright, I have to use the two hands to finish up. Alright, so make sure you blow the hoods out with the air compressor. So interesting, they slide on top of here. Like I said, I've never done these before, so I'm kind of still trying to figure them out. It's sort of like a plumbing, like a compression fitting, the plastic, what's it called, PEX, or I can't remember the name of this stuff. Yeah, actually, I think, yeah, it's easier to run than PEX, man, but dude, I've actually seen PEX blow up, so, alright, so you just slide a little fitting over like that, just like in the pictures. And then I'm guessing this is to flare it open as like a helper, and then get it in there like that, and then clamp them down. And actually, I don't have one of those fancy. They actually do make a fancy aluminum wrench set to prevent marring on these things, but I don't have one of those. That's what it looks like. Yeah, just slide it in there, I guess, and twist it down. You know, overall, I like actually terminating these a lot better. I'm gonna write it down. Overall, I definitely like these hoses better. Way easier to terminate than the old style, like the rubber ones. Like those ones were a headache, man, trying to get that thing fished in there, like the tip. But this is actually pretty easy, the PTFE ones. I mean, hopefully they last. I mean, I don't know. So, pretty nice. I just add a quart of fluid to it. Checking for leaks. Back it in. Alright, I'm going to take it for a test drive. Yeah, some of the degreaser's burning off here. But, yeah, the stuff you see in the background, that's moisture coming out of the exhaust pipes. Alright, so been a couple days. driving this around and still no leak, so that's cool. Stoked about that. So I guess we'll see how long these PTFE tube hoses last. Like I use PTFE tubes like a lot of all these 3D printers, you know. Same material as PTFE, you know. But yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, you know. Like I think the kits were like $40, so it came with like 10 feet of hose and 10 feet of hose and yeah, a bunch of connectors. But I need extra connectors, so what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna do the same thing for the fuel line. So I'm trying to replace all this stuff with like either all this PTFE stuff. So yeah, because I'm kind of over the stainless, so I'm just gonna go like, I mean, I guess right now the black is the new chrome. But all right, cool. Get to drive this thing again. I was getting a little nervous for a little bit, you know. It's like like when I'd come down the driveway, what it would do is it would run out of fluid, you know. The fluid, the pickup. Even though I actually have an extended oil drain pan and I have an extended you know, capture plug, like the 4x4 filter. Yeah, it must have been pretty low. It was about a quart low. And sometimes when I go down like hills, it would stop picking up fluid. So, and you couldn't like shift gears and stuff. So, all right, cool. Bronco's back in action.